are working on silage chopper. Tiffany, she's cleaning the windows. This is a 5400 John Deere that Dad got last year. We've always wanted one, and I found this one on Marketplace or Craigslist, one of the two. It's got a 4-row Klaus head on it. Anyway, and the price was right, and we wound up getting it. It's a 75 model, I believe. It is definitely not a new machine. But last year when it was going, it was a trick. Couple things that happened last year. First major thing that happened was the fuel tank. Now the fuel tank on this, you're supposed to fill it from up there, and the fuel tank is underneath the cab here, back in here. And it started leaking. Well, it wasn't leaking, it was pouring. Anyway, back under here, big square tank, supposed to hold about 70 gallon, I think. So, seeing that was going to be a major ordeal to try to get that tank out and get it back in. So, come up with this idea. This is a fuel tank off of a junk 8000 Ford tractor that we got. And I took and built brackets and mounted it back here on the back. And Dylan, this fuel tank right here, this Ford fuel tank is what makes this thing run so good. But anyway, that was the first major thing. I plumbed it all up. I ain't had no trouble out of that. It don't hold as much. This is about a 35, 40 gallon tank. But got that problem solved. Next major problem. This one was major. Which was the hydraulic pump. It sits right in there. This hydraulic pump, it went out, and that's the reason why she's cleaning the windows now, is because you've seen where it's on the side of that motor. When that hydraulic pump went out, it started squirting oil right out the end, and the fan just blew oil everywhere. And when the pump went out, we took it to have it rebuilt, and they said that it couldn't be fixed, that it was just wore out so bad inside. So it sat all winter there at the edge of the field. Right here is the pump. This little fella here, give you kind of idea of just how big it is. It's not very big. This pump right here is your main pump for the chopper, and then it has this little, we call it a piggyback pump here on the back, and what that is supposed to be for is just an oil circulator that circulates the oil from the main transmission that powers the chopper through a little small oil cooler. We could get the seals for this, but we couldn't get any other kind of internal parts. No gears, no housings, no nothing. And you can get them through John Deere, but this little baby right here is $2,500. So, what I done is I got a universal pump and put on it, and just an in and an out, teed off, because it teed off with this pump, and one side done the steering, the other side raised the head and turned the spout. Well, when I put that other pump on there and I teed off, it was sort of, I'm going to say, fighting itself. Nothing would work. And what we come to the conclusion of is when I called for steering, it was sending fluid to the valve body for the head, and just circulating back around. It's going path of least resistance. So I done some plumbing, put some valves and stuff in there just to make sure, and you could turn the valves off and you would have steering or you would have head control, but you didn't have both at the same time. So got back up with the hydraulic guy, and he got me a 2-stage pump. And I thought that was going to fix it. That pump was $380. Anyway, so with the 2-stage pump, you can do 2 functions at once. So I plumbed it up. I had head control, I had steering control, everything was going good. And I thought, all right, I fixed that. Late one night, just messed around there with it, everything was working, left it. Come back the next morning to do some stuff to it, and was steering it and heard a loud pop. Well, what happened is that universal pump that I got was putting out so much pressure and so much gallons per minute that it blowed the steering motor that your steering wheel hooks to. And what I mean by blowing, I'll kind of show you on this pump, give you an idea. The steering motor is kind of sort of this. You got your front plate, you got your back plate, and you got this spacer right here in the middle. Now that spacer on that thing is about 3/4 of an inch thick or wide, and it was about somewhere between 1/8 and 3/16, or not 1/8, 1/8 and 5/16, no, still wrong. It was about 3/16 thick. And what it done is it swelled that out and cone shaped it to where it looked like a bearing race, like a tapered bearing. So that wasn't going to work. So what I fixed is I got the hydraulic pump off of a 4400 combine that we got. Not mine, it's Dad's. It's a gas machine that we don't use no more. But anyway, I got this off of it, and it don't have this piggyback pump on it, but it is functioning and working like it's supposed to, and it ain't putting out as much pressure. What I had to do here is, you see I've got this spacer plate here. The shaft on that pump is made like this one, except it's about 3/4 to an inch longer. And it had a tapered shaft, tapered pulley that goes on there, but it didn't have a keyway in it. So I took that pump down here to a machine shop here in town, and he put it in the mill machine, and he was able to cut me a key with everything still intact in the pump. So as of now, that's what's on it, and it's working. We brought it down here. I chopped a little bit there at home, just kind of checking things out, see what it was going to do. And we brought it down here yesterday, and everything seems to be working. But that circulating pump is for this transmission right here. So what I've done for now is I just capped the lines off and see what's going to happen. Some of these models has that piggyback pump on them, and some of them don't. The book that we have don't say nothing about it. So I'm just going to try to keep an eye on the temperature on that, and I think we'll be okay, but we'll just have to see. But she's got my windows cleaned. I've got to get the knives sharpened. I've got my sharpening stone right there. These knives is wore out. This has got a Duradrum in it. Somebody's changed it. It's supposed to have the J knives, but anyway, it's got the Duradrum in it, and these knives are wore slap dab out. And the guy that we bought it off of, he had already started sharpening these with a grinder, so they're all already screwed up. So I'm just going to keep using the grinder. I won't try to get a new set of knives put in it this year, but funds just wasn't there, especially with all this hydraulic pump mess I've had. But he said that whenever he bought it, that the sharpening stone mechanism and all that stuff didn't work. I did get that freed up and broke loose last year, but I didn't put no stone in it because, like I said, these knives are just absolutely wore out. And so whenever I get a new set of knives and put in it and get a sharpening stone, we should be able to sharpen it normal. But we brought some wagons down this morning. I think Tiffany, she's going to try to drive the Ford dump truck. But I brought them wagons down here this morning. I'm going to try to get things kind of opened up and ready today. That way, when we do get help, we can just everybody hit it, and we ain't wasting time with me trying to get the fields and stuff opened up. So that's our plan. Get this greased up, sharpened up, and see if we can't open these fields up, and I'll bring you back then. Alrighty, I got her oiled up, greased up, ready to roll. Got old Glory flying, got our biggest dump wagon hooked up. Let's go see what flies apart. This chopper has a wind tunnel in it. That's what this is right here. They come out with augers that come from the chopper back to the blower. This wind tunnel is an aftermarket deal, and they say that with corn is the only thing you can use it in, but it is supposed to cut down on horsepower. Well, I like it and I don't. Just like right there. I'm just getting started. This pan's got just a little bit of rust and grime and stuff in it, and it will choke you up. So now I've got the pleasures of digging this out. That wagon's so full because I was going around the edge and I was almost to the end, so I just rounded her up. Right there's what we've gotten. That's five big loads. That was 4 of the big wagon and 1 dump truck load. And I was able that last load to push down in there and start packing some. So we had a pretty good day considering. Just getting started, which we didn't get started till late. I had to work on the chopper some and do some other tricks. But anyway, that's going to do it for this one. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.